What's up, YouTubers and plant lovers? It's Justin coming to you from the Big Blue Nation once again. And today, I was going to talk to you about a plant that kind of really started it off for me. I mean, I've had this plant for a long time. Well, not this one specifically, but I've had a lucky bamboo plant for a really long time. These plants are indestructible. They're a great first plant to have. They're kind of like a plant of steel. You'd have to do some pretty hard work to actually kind of kill these guys. I'm talking about Dracaena sanderiana, but you know the common name as lucky bamboo. In fact, it's more closely related to the lily family than it is the bamboo family. So it is not bamboo at all. It just looks like it. Therefore, we market it as lucky bamboo. So with this plant, it's really easy to take care of. You really can't kill it unless you go on vacation for like a year and forget about it. Even then, you might come back and there might still be a little speck of green on it. I doubt it. But with light, this guy kind of likes medium, kind of indirect light. It doesn't like a lot of sun. I set mine, I kind of alternate between an eastern facing window and a western facing window, depending on whether I have just the stalks out, or I usually keep this guy, the one in soil, in an eastern facing window, to get them kind of bright, indirect morning sun. I do have them about a foot away from the window, because even there, they can actually burn. Their foliage will burn rather easily. So you got to be careful whenever you place it. Just don't have it right up against the window without any kind of protection, like in a south-facing window. If you do have it in a south-facing window, make sure you use blinds, curtains, and set it back a couple of feet. Water, these guys can be really tricky when it comes to water. A lot of people think that since you can grow them in water, that that's all they need. Well, I mean, for a certain aspect, yeah, that does kind of help them, but you got to be careful because nowadays you can't use rainwater anymore, especially if you live kind of in a big city like I do. This rainwater will be really kind of nasty and just actually hurt your plant, especially if there's like any acidity to it or whatever. And you really kind of got to be careful with your municipal water as well. Because there are a lot of chemicals and substrates and just any kind of compounds in it, really. A lot of places have chlorine in their water. A lot of places have hard water. I have kind of hard water. And that will actually cause your bamboo leaves and canes to kind of start turning yellow if you have hard water. So your best bet for water is going to be to use distilled water or spring water or just filtered water. Now you got to be careful with the filtered water unless you have the zero water, I believe, because the filtered water, I learned, will actually leave some of the compounds in there and it will actually hurt your plant. And the kind of stuff I'm talking about with that is like the chlorine or the fluoride that can be in there. A lot of that kind of stuff will actually cause the leaves to actually turn yellow. So I use distilled water. That's just water that's been superheated and collected and condensed, and it makes sure that there's no kind of compounds or anything else in your water. So it's the cleanest water that you can really kind of get. So I would use either zero water for your filter or distilled water. It is your best bet to kind of water all your plants with that. I think in the summertime I give this guy about a cup of water every 3 to 4 days, and it's not uncommon to kind of water them maybe once every day or every other day if it's really hot. Now these guys should be indoors. Do not place them outdoors unless you're kind of like in the tropics. They can grow there, but still they're going to need some shade. In nature, these guys are kind of found under trees where it is kind of shady, so they don't take a whole lot of bright direct light well at all. So just make sure that you've got the water kind of covered and taken care of, especially if you have the stalks and you're growing them just in water. Make sure that is distilled water again. And make sure you're changing your water about once a week, at least once a week. Especially if you have your plant with the water in kind of a well-lit area, because algae needs sunlight to grow. So if you have a clear vase or anything of that nature, you can actually start to get algae and all kinds of slimy stuff in your water, and that can actually hurt your plant as well. And don't forget, if you are growing these guys in water, they're not going to get a whole lot of nutrients that way, so you do need to feed them. Probably a little bit more often than you do if you have them in soil. So yeah, just make sure you feed your plants because they will not live as long and they won't be as healthy if you're growing them just in water. So just give them the added nutrients that they're going to be missing out on if they just are sitting in water. And don't forget to change the water. It is not just for the benefit of the plant, but for your benefit as well, so that you don't smell it and have to see kind of dirty, nasty, grimy looking water. It's not appealing at all. But, you know, a lot of places, I think it's even pet stores, kind of market these that you can put in a vase and put fish in there around it. You know, I've even heard that fish will eat off the roots and the plant waste, and then the plants will in turn eat off the fish waste, and it's a nice little cycle. It's really not a very good cycle. For one, the fish doesn't get the added nutrients that it needs. Fish aren't just vegetarians. They do need insects and other kinds of nutrients. So I wouldn't recommend doing that either. And again, for the plant, with one fish in there, it's probably not going to put up enough waste to actually keep your plant very healthy. So, you know, people think, oh, well, you can grow it in water, so it's the right way to do it. It's not. I have mine in regular kind of well-draining soil. Again, kind of the soil formulated for like cacti and succulents, just because it has a lot of sand added in there, and that will help with the drainage. These guys don't like to have wet feet all day. So if you do put them in soil, which I recommend, use one that's kind of formulated for cacti, succulents, or citrus or something like that, just because it won't hold on to water as long. And it does have added nutrients in there, so that will help your plant in the long run. It'll be healthier and live longer. And that's kind of what we want here, just to kind of look out for our plants and take better care of them, because they are looking out for you and they do kind of help you out as well. Other than that, temperature, these guys are from the tropics. I believe it's kind of Southeast Asia and West Africa, kind of around the jungles of like Cameroon. So they don't like temperatures below, I would say, around 60, maybe 55 at the coldest. These plants can survive a little bit colder than that, but not for long. These plants will not survive a freeze, so do not forget them when it becomes fall and you're not sure if it's going to be cold out or not. Err on the safe side and take these guys in, because they do not like cold weather. Keep that in mind whenever you're placing them. For any kind of purpose, they don't like to be in any kind of drafty area by like a cold drafty window or door, air vent, or anything like that, because that'll dry them out, or it could actually freeze them and kill them. So keep that in mind whenever you're placing them. Fertilizer, with these guys, they don't need a whole lot. I would use a general all-purpose fertilizer, something that maybe has a little bit more nitrogen in it, because these are foliage plants. Some varieties can have nice little white pretty flowers on them. Yeah, you don't really need a fertilizer that's high in the potassium range, because that's going to be for the flowers, unless you do have the variety that does have the kind of smaller white flowers on them. One that's higher in the nitrogen range would be beneficial for these plants, because they are kind of a foliage plant. And let's not forget, nitrogen is a vital compound to plants, because it is a big part of chlorophyll, and that's what the plants use to turn sunlight and water into the valuable sugars that they need, or otherwise known as photosynthesis. So nitrogen plays a very important role in that for them. Something with a higher nitrogen range would benefit these guys. Other than that, I would use a general all-purpose house plant formula for them, and I would dilute it by at least half. Test it out first and make sure you know what you're using, and if everything goes fine, I would continue to use that. And don't forget, if you did just recently put these guys in soil, a lot of that stuff does have nutrients in it, so you don't need to feed them at least for a couple of months. I believe Miracle-Gro, they stand by about 6 months, so once you put a plant in there, you don't really have to feed them for about 6 months. Now, this plant got its common name for the lucky bamboo. It was by people that practiced the art of feng shui, and then thought that the plant looked relatively cool and then wanted to add that in, so they gave the name lucky bamboo, and that's done really well for this plant. A lot of places for a long time, I mean, you can't go anywhere. You see these places plants everywhere. People have them in their houses. They do so well under artificial light, so they're in office places, and they don't need a lot to be taken care of, so they are a good plant to have. Like I said, this is one of my first plants, and now I've got just these right now, but I love the kind when they're in the little minimalistic little flat pans and they have like the tiers on them. Those are really cool. I wanted to actually get that, and I do have one that's arranged in 3 and one that's a 2 arrangement, but the number of the stalks actually corresponds to the kind of luck that you're supposed to bring upon yourself. Just one individual log can bring in all kinds of chi, and I believe it's just supposed to be a general all-purpose kind of lucky log, so to speak. It's supposed to bring kind of good wealth and prosperity upon the person who holds it. 2 stalks is supposed to be in favor of love, kind of bringing love into your life, not just with a lover, but family as well. So 2 is a good arrangement to give to a partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, or anything of that nature. 3 symbolizes 3 kinds of luck. I believe it is happiness, lifelong, and then wealth as well. I don't know the names in Chinese, but it's believed that 3 bring on those 3 different kinds of luck to the owner. You will never find an arrangement, hopefully, of 4 bamboo stalks, because the word for death closely resembles the number of 4 in the Chinese language. So you'll never find an arrangement that just has 4 stalks in it, and if you do, don't buy it. It's believed to be bad luck. And don't ever give anyone an arrangement with 4 stalks, because that would be perceived as you wishing death upon the recipient, so to speak. So make sure that you stay away from 4 stalks when it comes to bamboo arrangements. Above or below is fine, but just don't hit that number 4. I know that is luck and superstition, but why tempt it? They say that 5 stalks for bamboo is supposed to attract good health, and that's not just supposed to be health all in just one general aspect. It's supposed to be the 5 areas of human life that you would want good health for, and I believe that's emotional, intuitive, mental, physical, and spirituality. So to have 5, you're supposed to be healthy and bringing good health to all 5 areas of your life. 6 bamboo stalks is thought to bring or attract prosperity, and I believe that's just because the number 6 in the Chinese language is thought to sound a lot like the word for luck, so that's where that comes into play. 7 is supposed to bestow good health onto you, so it's another good health kind of omen. And then I believe 8 also sounds similar to the word that's used to for thriving or to grow. So 8 stalks is thought to actually help with fertility as well. Now, oftentimes you'll find that the bamboo stalks are also wrapped in a different colored ribbon. Those different colored ribbons also have meaning. I believe white is thought to bring purity. It's thought to represent kind of confidence as well. Red is in the color of happiness for the Chinese. It's also for good reason, because it symbolizes fortune and joy. Similar to how a bride in America would get married wearing a white dress, a bride in the Chinese culture would always want to wear red. And that's just because of good health and happiness and joy. And not only does it symbolize happy and joy, but it also represents one of the elements, and that is the element of fire. The blue ribbon is thought to be represented by wisdom. Blue ribbons offer wishes for calmness, serenity, and kind of a healing or relaxation. So blue is a beneficial color for that purpose as well. Gold ribbons symbolize abundance, so it's a little vague when it comes to that, but an abundance of money, an abundance of wealth, an abundance of love, any kind of area with some abundance in your life would probably be, hopefully, beneficial. Orange ribbons are thought to attract kind of luck. An arrangement represented with an orange ribbon would also help to increase an individual's creativity also. Yellow is thought to bring cheerful intentions or kind of friendship towards a person, so yellow is a good color to have also. And then pink is thought to want to bring romance into a person's life, so any kind of pink wrapped around your bamboo would hopefully bring kind of good fortune in the love aspect of one's life. When pink is combined with like red, it's thought to spice up or bring fire and passion to a romance. Used in feng shui, the plant usually has a combination of all 5 of the elements, which are traditionally represented by wood, being the actual bamboo plant itself. Earth are often the stone, kind of like pebbles that you may place around the plant. Metal can also be kind of the container that it's in. I didn't even notice that, but I had a metal pot that I had used for this arrangement. Not even knowing anything about that relationship whenever I planted this thing. But glass, if you have it in glass, that could also kind of count as the metal part as well. Water is typically the growing medium, or just any water kind of added in just to help the plant thrive. And then fire is often represented by tying a red ribbon around the bamboo, or just having any kind of red kind of decorative piece that you want to throw in. I chose a little fake set of flowers that really kind of makes it pop with the green and the rocks and the metal. It all flows together really well, so I like this arrangement. I didn't tell you, but I saw this was a rescue plant. I had seen it at Walmart. I guess someone broke the pot and it was in a plastic little cup, and the roots were all kind of just saturated, and I guess someone thought, well, it's lucky bamboo, we'll just give it some water and it'll be fine. The water was in there over like 2 or 3 inches. It was horrible and it was starting to stink, so I took it home, and actually they just gave it to me. I asked anybody and there was no barcode or nothing, but they let me have it, so I took it home, gave it some soil and put rocks on top, and it has actually really started to kind of open up and looks like it's doing rather well. These plants are extremely easy to take care of. If you want to give someone a plant whose animals always chew on it and you don't know what to do, someone that has 2 black thumbs, this plant is a very good plant to give someone in that situation, just because it's hard to kill. You really don't have to worry about overwatering these plants. You really don't have to worry about much in the way of feeding as well, because the first time I got this plant I was about 15 or 16 years old, and the plant that I have was weaved together and it was all braided and pretty, and I had that for like 10 years before I moved back up here, and all I did was water it. I very rarely ever fed it. I think in the 10 years that I had it, I fed it 2 or 3 times, and the plant just took off. I just set it in the window and forgot about it, and would water it every once in a while whenever the leaves kind of drooped a little bit, and it grew so much. I believe in nature or outside, these plants can grow to about 5 or 6 feet, but indoors they rarely reach over a foot, maybe 2 feet. So you don't really need a whole lot in the way of space with these guys. In individual stalks, they do just fine sitting in a vase with a little bit of water and feeding them just whenever you think about it, really. So I do recommend these plants to give to anybody that struggles in the plant department, and these plants would be just fine for them. Like I said, these guys are really easy to take care of, so there shouldn't be any problems in the way of that. But leave me a message, let me know what you guys thought of that. Let me know if you've ever had any kind of success or failures with the Dracaena sanderiana, and let me know if you like Lucky Bamboo. Like I said, it's one of my first plants. I've had it for a long time, and I probably always will at least have 1 or 2 stalks. Hopefully 2 in the way of love. It's a good quality to have in your life, and bring good wealth and fortune in all your areas of life as well, along with actually representing all the elements. It's really easy to do with one arrangement, and let me know if you've ever done anything like that, and post any kind of pictures to let me see how you've incorporated your metal or your fiery ribbons or what have you. Well guys, I really don't have much more to say about this plant. I hope you guys have an easy one. Take it easy, and don't forget guys, always plant prudently. Thank you, YouTube.